Hey guys, welcome back to our Minecraft Survive to Thrive Let's Play series. This is episode 2, and in episode 1 we just went through how to get some of the basics, take care of getting some resources like trees, wood, getting our first sets of tools like we have down here, and just kind of going over the basics of how to survive your first night, as well as how to access your inventory and just a bunch of other things. So if you want to figure all that out, check out our first episode. I'll put a link up in the top, maybe a card, and I'll maybe put a link down in the description as well. Y'all check it out and you'll learn some things from that episode. So with this episode, I decided to come up with a better way of just kind of giving you an idea of exactly what's going on here. I set up some signs here to tell us what our 3 goals for this episode are going to be and exactly what I'm going to be walking you through. So for this first goal, we're going to go mining for some iron and just gathering some resources in general. I'll show you all how to set up a diamond mine as well. Just on our way to getting diamond, we'll find enough iron. And with that iron, we're going to get ourselves armored up so we can survive in the night when there's some mobs around here. Some mobs, meaning some monsters. You can also call cows and pigs mobs. Like that's a mob up there. But generally, when I say mobs, it's usually skeletons and zombies and creepers and things like that. And then we're also going to work on building our actual base. And this is just a small little hovel of just a place to survive our first night, kind of gather some resources and get things settled. But we're going to build our first house and a farm or two just over here in this area. And I'll show y'all how to get started with that in this episode. So without further ado, let's get kicked off and we'll start with setting up our mine. So since we have this little hovel already, I don't feel like there's any real reason to go find a mine elsewhere. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and start mining in this corner right here. Generally, you'll have to mine about 3 blocks tall and then 1 down. And you're wanting to go down because if you're going to go for one of the best materials in the game, which is diamonds, they spawn on level 12. Now, this is correct as of Minecraft 1.17, but with Minecraft 1.18 coming out, I know there's going to be a few changes with the depths of different things, so some of this may change by then. Now, as you're going down into your mine, what you're going to want to make sure that you have is some torches. And we're going to go ahead and get set up with a few extra torches here. Now we got a pretty decent stack of torches here. What I would recommend is grabbing your torches and putting them in your shield slot while you are mining. And one other good kind of idea to have, speaking of the shield slot, is getting a little bit of wood. And if you have some iron, 1 piece will do. We're going to go ahead and create a shield. And that's going to be 6 pieces of wood in that kind of shape there with a 1 single iron ingot right there. And that'll create a shield, which will be really helpful for defending yourself if you run into any caves. And that goes in that slot right there. So the shield will help you block arrows from skeletons, it'll help block attacks from zombies, and it also even takes some impact from a creeper explosion so you won't die immediately from that. I'm going to go as far down as level 11 with our mine here, and if you want to know what level you are on, if you just hit your F3 button and you'll be able to see that. Now you can see over in the left hand side there is an area labeled XYZ. Your X is going to be your horizontal axis, your Y is going to be your vertical axis, and your Z is going to be running either east or west while your X-axis runs north or south. So right now we are on Y level 56, and we just want to go a little bit further down to get to Y level 11 or 12. So I'm going to mine down there, and I will meet y'all down there. Now, one thing you'll want to watch out for as you are mining down is if you run into patches of dirt, it's better to use your shovel to break the dirt rather than using your pickaxe, because it just uses up your pickaxe and the shovel is actually meant for the dirt. So just a nice little handy tip there, and we'll keep on going and I'll see y'all down there. Alright guys, if you're playing on the same seed as me and you decided to play along and mine exactly where I did all the way down here, at about Y level 14 you will have run into a cave. Now generally caves can be pretty dangerous, so you'll want to make sure you have your shield up, and Get your sword at the ready, and then make sure you have some torches on your hotbar because you will definitely want to light up what's going on in here. Now we have some lava pouring, so we definitely don't want to touch that, and we might even block it off here in a little bit. When you are mining or when you are caving, I recommend doing like I did here and putting all your torches on one side or the other. You can put it on the right or the left, that's up to you, it's a personal decision. But it just makes it a lot easier to find your way back out of the cave when you are running around. Now, it is definitely worth exploring caves because it makes it a lot easier to find different types of ores like coal and iron, which will be very easily exposed. And if you are low enough, you will find some good sources for diamonds as well. Like I said at episode 1, I do recommend mining the entire vein of coal as you can because it is a bit of a commodity at the beginning of the series, at the beginning of your playthrough of Minecraft, and it is very necessary for a lot of things that you need for smelting iron, for creating torches, or for cooking different types of food. Now, I do recommend when you are going around that you make sure you have a couple of pickaxes available. You can create some extra pickaxes. Oh crap. You guys make sure that you look around everywhere you go because you never know when a creeper is going to spawn just like that and explode out of nowhere. It's very, very fortunate that the creeper was not close enough to me to kill me because that would have died and I would have lost everything I had. Right, guys, and when you come across other ores like this gold ore right here, if you only have a stone pick, do not mine it because without an iron pick or better, you will not be able to get the gold. It will just disappear. So what you'll want to do is make sure that you mine up as much of this iron as you can because that is going to be what you will need in order to mine gold, in order to mine diamond. If you mine it with a stone pick, you're gonna take a long time mining that diamond and then it will just disappear. And then you'll just be sad. And no one likes to be sad. Alright guys, a good rule of thumb as well, if you want to make sure that you brought some wood with you so you can create another crafting table, and with that crafting table you'll want to create some more tools so you don't have to go back to your little hovel or your base, whatever it is you have, and create some more up there. So you'll just be able to create it right here on the go, and it just makes it really, really convenient. Guys, if you want to get rid of a lava source, you can either splash it with a bucket of water, and all of this down here will either turn it into cobblestone or obsidian, or you can just take a block right at the source of the lava, pop it in there, and it will destroy the source, and now everything else will disappear. Now be careful when you're doing that in caves as well, because lava does generate light for you, so you will want to make sure that you light up the area pretty good. Otherwise, mobs will spawn there, and when you're coming down to go mining, they can ambush you and kill you. So I did explore a little bit of the cave, didn't go too far. I did get quite a few resources, about 31 iron and a bunch of coal. But what I really want to do is I just want to keep going down so I can have a decent mine access for getting all the way down to diamond level. So I'm going to get down there and then I will start showing y'all the best ways that I find for mining diamond. So when you're at about level 11, you might want to dig out a little area here just so you can get yourself a nice little station set up, some chests, some furnaces maybe if you feel like you want to smelt your stuff down here without having to go back up. I recommend doing at least a 3x3. That way it gives you a few areas to branch off to if you get bored mining in one direction, and it also gives you a chance to just figure out where you want to go. It gives you a little bit of space so you can put some things down. Like for example, I'm going to put down this crafting table. We'll put it here in this corner, and then I think I'm going to make myself a chest here, and we'll put it over here in this corner, and then we'll make ourselves a nice little furnace or two. And we'll put one there, and we'll split our coal, start smelting up our iron, pop that in there for anything else we decide to smelt. Now what I generally do is called branch mining, and that usually entails just going down a certain distance in just a straight line. And guys, so a nifty little trick when you are mining and there is gravel around, if you have your torch in your offhand and you have your pick in your other hand, if you mine quick enough and then place down a torch, the gravel will fall and break upon the torch. There you go. You don't have to mine the torch, or you don't have to mine the gravel, and it breaks apart itself. You don't have to mine it, and you don't use any durability on any of your tools. Alright guys, we have mined just a little bit, not very, very far, and we've run into a couple of veins of different ores. We've got some redstone here, which we cannot mine with the tool that we have. You have to have an iron pick to mine that. And we've run into copper, which we can mine. So we'll go ahead and mine some of this copper up, and we'll work with this later on in the series. Now this red stuff here that is around our copper is called redstone, which is kind of like the electricity of Minecraft, and we'll probably play with a little bit of it. I'm not too great at making redstone contraptions myself, but I'm definitely going to watch some tutorials and then walk you through how to use redstone as well. But once you've gone a distance away from your little starter area here, what you'll want to do is come to the end and then start mining about 5 over, which is as far as your pick will reach. And if you do both blocks here, you'll be able to see everything around the area and get a nice view of everything. When you are doing these branch mines, it is recommended that you go about every 2 blocks or so before you start another branch. And that is just because it gives you the opportunity to see every piece of ore that could possibly spawn here. And it also gives you, so level 12 is what we're standing on, so it gives you 13, 14, and then 15 as well. Alright guys, if you see any of this blue ore, it is good. You can go ahead and mine it with your stone pick. It is called Lapis Lazuli, or Lapis Lazuli, whatever you want to call it. And it can be used for dyes, or it can also be used for enchanting items, which is also what you will use your levels for. Now, I do recommend waiting until you get diamond equipment at least before you start trying to enchant things, and that's just because you can upgrade your diamonds to netherite, but you can't upgrade anything to diamonds without making it from scratch. So you'll probably want to wait until you have diamonds and until you're about level 30 before you start enchanting things, and that just kind of helps you get better enchantments and the best equipment to start off with. Alright, so we spent a little bit of time mining, and we came back with just a few resources. Didn't get any diamonds, but we did not go very far. We didn't mine for very long. So we weren't really expecting to get any diamonds at this point, but we are on diamond level. So if you decide to keep mining until you find diamonds, go for it. But that is not what we're looking for in this episode right now. We are just wanting to get armored up. So I believe 31 pieces of iron should be enough. And if y'all noticed, you do get experience for smelting things, and it can be food. It doesn't have to just be iron. So I'm going to run back up to our little hovel, and I will walk y'all then through how to make some armor. And then we'll spend some time, and I'll go through some combat tips. Alright, so we've completed one goal for the day, and that was to go mining for iron. So we'll go ahead and knock that off. And now we are going to get armored up. So now that we have about 31 or so pieces of iron, I'm going to go ahead and smelt the rest of this. Now that we have that much iron, we're going to go ahead and make some armor. So you can come over here to your book and start clicking on the things that you want to make. We'll go ahead and start with an iron chest plate, which is just 6 iron ingots on the bottom, and then 1 on the top left and 1 on the top right. Then we'll make ourselves some leggings, which is just kind of an upside down U shape of iron ingots. And then we'll make ourselves an iron helmet, which is a smaller U shape. And then we'll make some boots, which is just 2 iron ingots on either side of the crafting grid. So once you've made yourself some armor, you can just shift click the armor piece and it will put it on for you right where it needs to go. Now we have some iron ingots. I'm going to upgrade a few of these tools here, probably the pickaxe and the regular axe, and then we'll go through some combat tips for y'all. Well, since we have gotten all armored up and we have all the weapons that we'll need for a little while, we're going to head back down into the cave and explore a little bit, and I will talk about some combat tips as we go. Walking through the caves, it will be best to make sure you have your shield out as much as you can, since you do not want to get ambushed by anything. Have your torches in your other hand, though sometimes you will end up placing them down when you are trying to defend yourself. Oh, here's a skeleton. And you will want to make sure that you defend yourself. You can watch as the skeleton recharges his bow, and then strike, and strike, and strike. and one more time. So you can see that every time that you watch the skeleton, their bow will recharge, so you'll know that you have an opening there so that you can fight them. Now, a good rule of thumb before you really explore a cave is to make sure that you are completely fed. That way your health can recharge pretty quickly. Making sure that you're fully fed will allow you to regenerate your hearts. If you are hungry at all, even with a couple of chicken legs gone or just one, you will not necessarily lose your health, but you just won't be able to regenerate it if you get attacked. So a good idea for zombies is watch their arms. You will see them drop their arms when they attack and then raise them up again. Now, a good way to do some extra damage is if you jump and land your hit like I just did right then. At the right moment, you will do some extra damage, and it really does help prevent any durability from your weapons being reduced, as well as, oh, look, another zombie's coming. Jumping and attacking like that will reduce the amount of durability your weapon takes when you're fighting, but it will also deal more damage to the monsters as they come. So there we go, and 2 hits with a iron axe. Jumping and landing the attacks at just the right time will help out a lot. An axe typically does a little bit more damage too than a sword does to a single monster, but a sword will also allow you to attack multiple monsters at once. Now, speaking of multiple monsters, I think I saw a creeper and a skeleton. Creepers you will want to be careful of because they will explode, but you can also use them to your advantage, as they will also deal damage to surrounding mobs. And I'm all out of torches, so I don't really want to explore too much, but I did see this on the way through here. There is a amethyst cave right here, so we want to check this out. May even get ourselves some nice building materials, and just listen to that. Whenever you break those amethyst crystals, they make a beautiful sound. Since we're here, we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about these caves. These were new, added in Minecraft 1.17. You could not find them in any version older than 1.17. What you want to watch out for are these blocks right here, because they will generate new crystals which will continue to grow. So you don't want to mine them. You can mine the ones around them though if you want to. And you can also mine these crystals, and you will get some amethyst shards off them. Now, it seems that the crystals do put off a little bit of light, but not generally enough to prevent mobs from spawning. I'm going to spend a little bit of time here gathering some of the resources around, and then I will meet y'all on the surface as we start to set up our house and our farms. And guys, some things I forgot to mention while we were talking about mining is, one rule for mining is never mine directly up, because there could be some gravel up there or some sand, and that would fall on you and could cause you to suffocate. Also, never mine directly below you, because you could find a hole and fall into it, or there could be lava below, and both cases could be quite terrible. And quick correction, guys, this is not called an amethyst cave, it is called a geode. Alright guys, so I spent some time running around gathering some resources. I gathered some flowers, I gathered some seeds for some different kinds of plants, and then I ended up gathering some oak logs, as well as we're going to end up using some of these resources that we got from down in the mines. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kick this off into a little time lapse to show you what we can build. Not going for anything very impressive here as far as size is concerned.
So the best way that I've found to start off a build is to use some wood supports to define the area you're going to build in. It gives you a nice boundary and kind of helps you see what the build is going to look like towards the end. Then you'll want to dig out the dirt and put in your floor, add some nice texture variation. I just used cobblestone because I was planning to put some carpets on top and cover it up with some other things, especially since it's going to be such a small build. The texture variation would come with the furniture that we put in. At that point, I did run off to get some sand to make some glass. And another point that is really good to make here is never be afraid to try something, especially if you don't think you might like it, because you might. But here, I used the calcite and the polished andesite, didn't end up liking it, and I was able to replace it just like I did here with the polished granite. And then here, you'll want to make sure you add some depth variation to it like we did with the upside down stairs at the top of the wall. And that kind of made it look a little bit like the roof was coming down and out away from the building, and it just kind of gave it a nice depth variation there as well. I use stairs to make my roof just because it gives it a nice slanted look, and then I do generally like to add a chimney like we do here in the back. It adds a nice variation of some sort there in the roof. Now I did make it too tall, so I came back and dropped it down a little bit, and that made it look really good to me.
Well guys, I can't really say that I've ever built a house like this before. It's not a very big house, and it will do what we need it to for the time being. I did intentionally build it relatively small because I don't really have much to put on the inside just yet, just like a couple of chests and a bed. I also want to make some carpets here in a little bit and fill out the interior here, but we do have the outside of the house complete. I don't normally do this with my rooms, but I thought it'd be interesting to just to try something new and just play around a little bit, which is a great way to work on your building. Just play around and see what you like, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. I found that, maybe for walls and getting some good shape for the building, you want to start with a kind of an L shape maybe, or you want to do something other than just a box. And that helps make things look a little bit better, makes things look a little bit more realistic, more natural. And then it's just depending on how you like to build roofs, and it depends then on how you like to do your windows and different things like that. And then also on the resources that you have access to when you're trying to make the build. For example, on the fireplace up there, the chimney, I typically like to use spruce trap doors instead of the oak trap doors there like I used. Because with the spruce trap doors, you can't see the campfire on the inside. So it doesn't look like your house is on fire. You just see the smoke coming out the top like in a chimney. But everything else is just looking really pretty good. I do like to have a little bit more detail, and I'll probably work on adding some of that later on and showing y'all how to do that. I do plan on, like I said, decorating the inside a little bit, and I will walk y'all through how to do that probably in the next episode, just to kind of make things look a little bit better on the inside. But right now we're going to turn our attention to making some farms. And the first thing you'll want to do is go and get some of the iron that you mined up earlier and make a bucket, which will just involve 3 iron ingots, and you'll just put that in your crafting table in like a V shape. You'll grab your bucket and right click the water to fill it up. Then you'll probably just want to find a good place for it. I wouldn't say too far from your house, like right about there is good. And then you will start making, with your hoe, you'll start right clicking the ground around the water, and that will allow for you to get plowable fields here for you to plant your seeds, carrots, potatoes, and beetroot seeds, as well as if you have any pumpkin seeds, which you can get from putting your pumpkins in a crafting grid. That will give you some pumpkin seeds. One way you can get some regular seeds if you are not near a farm is by just clicking the grass, and eventually you'll break some, and eventually you will get some wheat seeds from that. But for now, we're just going to start with a small little farm. We'll do a mix of all the different vegetables that we have and the wheat and pumpkins. And we'll just see how that looks after we plant everything. To maximize your farmland, if you put a single source of water, you can build about 5 blocks away. I say build, you can plow 5 blocks away from the water source, and it will still provide water for your crops. But it won't be able to go much further than that. You'll just have to add another source of water there. So once you feel like you've plowed enough of your field, you can grab your seeds and just start kind of planting around where you want these crops to grow. Now, an important note to make about pumpkins and melons, whenever you'll find melons, is that when you plant the seeds, you want to make sure there's some space around the pumpkin for it to grow, because it will grow a vine, and then the pumpkin will generate right next to the vine. So we'll go ahead and plant that there, and we'll plow maybe a few more spots along the way later on. We'll actually just put it right here, right next to our water for our pumpkins to grow. And I'm gonna run to bed real quick because we are gonna get ambushed and I don't like to be out at night. Hey guys, if you have learned something new from this episode or you have just enjoyed watching and hanging out with me, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so you can be notified of some more content, and the like really helps out a lot. Thanks guys. So with the crops now in place, we'll just wait for them to grow. And in the next episode, guys, we will get some animals. We'll decorate the inside of our house and maybe a little bit more of the exterior just to make things look a little bit better. And with that, guys, that is the end of today's episode. Thank y'all so much for watching and for hanging out with me. I hope to see y'all in the next video. And just like a standard creeper, there's that guy back there just being creepy. Hope he doesn't spot me and try to blow me up. See you guys in the next episode.